Our guest today is Dr. Abby Medcalf. She's a psychologist, author, podcast host, and speaker who specializes in relationship dynamics. She brings a rare blend of clinical insight and real-world advice, plus an MBA that helps her talk about money as comfortably as she talks about emotions.
What I hear the most from couples, they'll say, oh, he's a spender and I'm a saver. And my first reaction always is, everyone is a spender. Please, there is not a person alive who doesn't spend money. Come on. Come on. Everyone's a spender. It's what you spend on. It's where you choose to hold the most value with your money. Shame is a fear-based emotion, and no relationship was ever made better with fear, ever, in the history of relationships. That's like people tell me, well, my anxiety helps me, get productive at work. I'm like, no, we need another way, right? Like, I don't want ever shame to be a motivator. Our conscious brains process information at a rate of 40 bits per second, while our subconscious or unconscious brains process information at a rate of 11 million bits per second. So people don't hear what you say, they hear what you mean.
There's all this talk about like opposites, attracting, but I think like when it comes to money, like when you're such in opposition in terms of your values, how do you help people to rebound, right? Like, let's say they're listening to this podcast, they are all excited, they go and they try to have that first conversation and they don't want to be like us and have that lead into an argument. But then that person is just resisting, right? Like that opposing force is just really pushing back. What advice do you give people to just hang in there?
I always say it's like painting a room. If you've ever painted a room, you know that you spend 90% of your time getting the room ready. And if you do that, if you tape off all the corners, if you put a tarp over everything, if you, no one wants to spend the time doing that, right? If you sand the walls, if you do all that stuff, the painting takes 2 minutes and looks amazing at the end. But that's what you have to do in the conversation. It is about, first of all, you have to prep yourself first and foremost. If you're going in any conversation hot, problem.
What advice do you give or do you coach your clients with to help them address a fear of conflict, or at least see conflict as a necessary part of any financial relationship or relationship in general?
By the way, I think conflict avoidance is probably the biggest issue we have today, period. Businesses, personal, everywhere. It's huge. And I think since the pandemic, it's just been out of the box. This distance that we've created, all the distancing, makes it very easy to avoid, right? And to be a little keyboard warrior and all that. And the texting in relationships makes me insane. Should never be texting anything but logistics. Texting is not connecting. If you have to use an emoji or a cap to say what you mean, then you should take it off of text. But it's so easy these days to text. Only text logistics. I'll tell you that right now. What are we having for dinner? What time you're going to be home? Please bring home milk. That's it. That is it. Nothing else. That's it. If you even want to do an I love you, don't do it. You're probably feeling a little fear-based and insecure. You're like, oh, I want to reach out. Oh, I'm feeling a little insecure in my life. I love you, babe. That's from fear. Nope. Don't do it. I grew up at a time when we didn't have phones. Like, I don't know what to tell you. We were fine. And I think we were better off in a lot of ways without this like pacifier in our mouth all the time, But I would tell you that. So like, stop that. That's pretty huge. And that will avoid a lot of conflict right there. But your second thing is that you have to rethink what conflict is.